Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome or welcome back. It is Tuesday, so it is Tag Tuesday, and I'm doing the Filmtastic February Tag. And this was created by Duncan at Back Away from the Donkey, which I love that username. And then I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. And so uh, I usually, we're on BookTube, so we usually show off our books and stuff. So this is kind of fun to do a video one. I used to work at a video store, so I love movies. But also, just like with books, I do collect them. So I'm going to show off some of my DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, just because I still like to own my media. That's why we buy books and stuff too, when we have favorites and stuff that we want them to be ours and in our library, in our collection. So I will be showing off some of my movies as well. And I kind of did my own thing a little bit here because it's asking for a lot of different book to movie or movie to book adaptations and stuff. And some of them that were my favorites had been TV shows. So I am going to include talking about TV shows in here as well, instead of just movies. But your first memories of seeing a film in the cinema. And so I remember two experiences. One was arachnophobia, which I should not have seen as a child, but it was a family day, and my mom and my dad took me, and I was probably like 7 or 8, and I should not have seen that movie. Not that I'm scared of spiders now, but it was definitely a scary movie to watch as a child. I don't think that they realized that it was supposed to be a scary movie. And then the other one is I had little brothers who are twins, and we took them for their first movie, was Free Willy, and they were really little, and I got to hold one while we were watching the movie, and just watching them experience how big the screen was. I think they were like 1 or 2, and they're just like staring and going back and forth with their eyes, trying to take in the whole screen. And that was always an enjoyable experience for me. A book about a film. So this can be a behind the scenes book, autobiography, or a work of fiction that includes film as the main subject. And I don't know very many, so the only one I thought of that I read was The Moviegoer by Walker Percy. Number 3. A novelization or tie-in to a book. Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. And this is in the Star Wars universe about Princess Leia and how she, like her childhood. So like how she became a rebel and within the rebellion, and her role prior to when we get to meet her in the original Star Wars movie. Number 4, a film about writers or writing. Dead Poets Society is a really great one. And also, I had mentioned this when I talked about Shakespeare in September. But Renaissance Man. It's a fun. It's a comedy. But they discuss a lot about Hamlet and different ways of seeing him. And they also do a really great speech. And that's not, they talk about Shakespeare in general. So the speech is basically the Band of Brothers speech. And I believe it was Henry V that was in. And that was one of my memorable film experiences, watching something that had to do with Shakespeare. Number 5, a film that brings back fond memories. So I have a couple here. Um, and this one is A League of Their Own. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's about the women's professional baseball league. I was obsessed with this as a child, and I actually really I loved playing softball. I played baseball and stuff with my family. I had a large family. My grandpa was obsessed with it, so he had us all playing, and we would play, every time we got together as a family. And then I played all through, my childhood on different teams. I always made the all-star team. I was quite good. And my dream after watching this and being obsessed with it was to be a baseball player for this league. And I was devastated when I found out that this league no longer existed. So instead of, pivoting too much, I was just like, well, then I'm going to be a professional baseball player in the men's league. And so, that was my dream for like 4 years until I, found a different love and stuff. But I really loved this movie. It was the first movie that I watched so many times I could quote every aspect of it. I still make references to it in my everyday life. I just absolutely love this movie. And another one that always brings back fond memories is Willow. They actually recently did a TV show, kind of like a sequel to it, but then of course it got canceled. But this is a sweet fantasy, very cheesy special effects and stuff because it was an 80s movie. But I absolutely adored this fantasy when I was a child. And then a film that made you want to read the book. And so I have several here. Basically all comic book adaptations. I either read the comics or I, after I watched the shows, usually they were the ones, from the 90s and stuff, the movies and stuff before they started doing all the Marvel stuff that I'm talking about. Harry Potter, I took my little brother to watch the first 3 movies. And then by the 3rd one, I thought, well, maybe I should start reading these books. Gone with the Wind, I finally decided to read that book. Stardust, I still haven't read that book, but it kept making me want to. And then I was told that the book was better than the movie, or the movie was better than the book in this case. So I just decided that I didn't, but I keep going back to it, and I might want to. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. It was a fantastic movie, so I went and read the book, and I love the book. I already talked about that a few different videos where I read it several times. Also, another one was Molly's Game. This is one of my favorite movies, so it made me want to read her book. And I kind of didn't finish the book, but I still need to. But this movie is excellent. And I actually have been wanting to rewatch it because the opening scene of this movie is one of my favorite opening scenes in anything that I've read or listened to, I guess, watched. And so there's a part in here because she was actually, this is based on a true story. Molly Bloom was a competitive skier, and she was, going for the Olympics and all that stuff. And she had a horrible accident that ruined her career. And so that opening scene where she does this really great monologue, it makes me want to watch it every time the Olympics come about. And since the Olympics are on right now and skiing is a big thing, I might rewatch this. But anyway, because she had to pivot her life, she somehow got involved in illegal underground poker and became like this poker princess who was like making millions having these underground poker games with celebrities and some mobsters and criminals and stuff. And so they were going to arrest her, and she wasn't going to go on trial. because she would not release the names of her clients. And they wanted to get her as like conspiracy with all these criminals and mobsters and stuff. And it's just such an excellent, such an excellent movie. But I would recommend it if you haven't seen it. And then another one, 300. I went back and read the comics. I was absolutely obsessed with 300 for a long time. The Color Purple musical made me finally read The Color Purple this year, and I love that book and that movie. And then The Legend of the Seeker is a TV show, and it's cheesy, and it's not even close to like what the actual books are about, because this is lighthearted and family fare, and the books are darker and stuff, but it's a fantasy. And I was obsessed with it after season 1, so I went in between season 1 and season 2, read the entire 11 book series, and those books are thick. And so yes, that definitely made me want to do that. Number 7, a book that made you want to watch the film. So all of Nicholas Sparks' stuff that I read like years ago, I haven't read his in ages, but I remember loving Message in a Bottle, A Walk to Remember, and The Notebook. And so I was really excited when they became movies, and I do enjoy the movie versions of those books. Also, obviously, The Hunger Games, Twilight. I was into those at the time, waiting for those movies to come out. And Percy Jackson, although that was a very big disappointment, actually. And also another one, speaking of one, so going back to a film that makes me want to read the book, I forgot to mention A Simple Favor. I still haven't read the book, but every time I rewatch this, I get the urge to. I just am scared, because I loved this movie so much, that the book's not going to actually live up to it. And I know that it's the opposite usually, that the books are even better than the movie, but I think the performances in this is what made the movie so delightful. The chemistry between the main characters, I'm sorry, I gotta take off so you can actually see her face. The wardrobe that Blake Lively wore in this is worth watching the movie alone. But this is completely absurd. It is a crazy ride, fun and entertaining, as Anna Kendrick kind of befriends this really popular mom at her son's school, and just wants to be, friends with her, wants to be like her. And they start hanging out, they start becoming friends, and then Blake Lively's character goes missing. And so Anna has to, try to solve the murder, or the abduction, or the missing, because nobody seems to think that anything actually happened until she starts, finding the clues and everything. And Anna gives such a enduring performance in here. It's wild. They released a sequel of it last year. So once again, the sequel came out, and I wanted to read the book, and I never have yet. But a book that made me want to watch the movie was now I cannot think of the name of it. I can't believe I forgot. But the movie is The Tillman Story. It's actually a documentary. And it's based on Pat Tillman's life. And he was a professional football player. And then after September 11 happened, in the United States was attacked, he quit his football career and joined the Army, and then died in friendly fire that the government, the military, tried to cover up. And so great documentary. I'm going to put the name of the book down below just because it is an excellent book. And I cannot believe that I didn't write it down because I thought I would absolutely remember it, and now it escapes me. And so, number 8, films that are based on a book or story with no resemblance to the source. That would be, and these are not just films, also TV shows. Like I said, I included. So, Legend of the Seeker was nothing. It followed the same, like, main hit points, but tonally it was a completely different source material. The 100 and The Magicians were not even close to what their books were. I actually liked both of those TV shows, so then went back and tried to read the books and only got through, and I like forced myself to finish the first book in each of those series and just never continued because I did not like them. They were so completely different. And then Percy Jackson. The TV show is a much better adaptation, but those movies were absolutely awful. They cut out huge storylines and chunks of storyline and stuff. Yeah, so they were not even close to that source material. And then the last prompt is to recommend 5 films. So I grabbed 5. I tried to do my favorite ones, but also ones that people might not have heard of, so that I can recommend something new to you. The first one is an all-time favorite, another one that I have completely memorized, and I'm recommending it specifically because it is Olympic season, and this is The Cutting Edge, and it is about a spoiled woman pair skater who cannot keep a partner, and a hockey player who gets injured and can't play hockey anymore. But since she can't get a partner and she wants to qualify for the Olympics, they tried to convince him to be a figure skater. And they, it's the whole enemies to lovers trope, but it's amusing, it's fun to watch. It's a predictable romantic comedy, but it is something I watch every Olympic season, or just anytime I'm in the mood to watch something nostalgic and fun. The next ones none of them are as happy as those. This one is called You're Not You, and this is Hilary Swank plays a woman who gets ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and she has to get a caretaker to help her as she gets progressively worse and worse, to be her advocate in life, to help her try to maintain some sense of normalcy and independence, as her husband is not around and, cheating on her and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, even though I know how this ends, I gut-wrenchingly cry every single time. It's a very underrated movie, but I really, really enjoy it. And a lot of these movies are R-rated. They're not children's or accessible. If you have issues with that kind of stuff, you might want to check ratings and maybe just, even if you just want to ask me if they have some specific triggers or what makes them rated R. This one is Life is a House. I really enjoy this movie. This is about a father and son who the parents are separated, divorced, and the son is going through his rebellious drug phase, and he's slipping away. Him and his father have no relationship at all. They hate each other, or the kid hates the father for leaving. and the dad reaches out because since he feels his son slipping away, he wants him to build his dream house with him for the summer. Just to, get away from everything that's causing him for his rebellion, all of the trouble he's getting into, just, build this house with me. And it's a sweet story. It's well acted, and it also is heartbreaking. One of the best dialogue and written movie, and it's funny, is like, so A Few Good Men is also written by the same one who did Molly's Game. They're written by the same screenwriter, which is probably why I enjoy it so much. But Aaron Sorkin also wrote The West Wing, which is a fantastic TV show. He also wrote the script for the Broadway adaptation for the play. Gosh, why can I not think? Scout is in it, and I can't remember. To Kill a Mockingbird. Gosh, I am really bad today. But he wrote all of these. He's a fantastic writer, and A Few Good Men is an older movie as well. You can tell a lot of these are like 90s, early 2000s era. That's the era that I worked in the video store, so I had access to the used copies of a lot of these. But A Few Good Men features, there's a death of a naval soldier, or naval sailor, a private. And he is, the two of his, in his unit are accused of killing him. And it's really interesting because you kind of like this military history. You get, how the law works in the JAG force with the court system and stuff. The cast of this is absolutely brilliant. The dialogue is fantastic. And you get this really interesting morality aspect of what it means to be, whether you're a sailor or soldier, in the military in general. What your obligations to each other are, not just to your chain of command. And it's so well done. And then the last one is the only one, most recent one besides A Simple Favor to make my list. And this one is my probably #1 movie obsession since I've watched it. I watched it in the theaters several times. And it's Sinners. Absolutely epic. Everything about this is perfection. Great cast, great storyline. It's so rich and in depth about like the nuances of the culture back then. So you have white passing character. You have the Asian characters in the South who were able to bridge the gap between white and black and kind of have a store where they waited. They had one side of the road, they had a store where they waited on the white people, and then the other side of the road, a store where they waited on the black people. And you have the Irish oppression and their escape from, the colonization, the Christianization, all that stuff. And, you get racism, you get culture, you get the bigotry and stuff that comes with the KKK during that time. And there's vampires. That's not enough. And you also get the most beautiful, like, cinematography that you will ever see. And music, the music in this is excellent. The performances, the way that it's shot, just, I cannot say enough. I absolutely love every aspect of this movie. Those are my recommendations. This was a really fun tag, so thank you, Pat, for tagging me, and Duncan for creating it. I kind of got to merge my two things because until I got really into books again, film watching and stuff was my go-to pastime, just because I had working at a video store, had access to so much. And so I watched as much as I can. I, have all this random trivia in my head so that even if I haven't watched a movie, I've put it back on the shelf so I can tell you who's in it. I can tell you what it's about. I can tell you the title and everything. And I guess that's kind of what librarians would be like, where somebody is like this very obscure description, and then you had to like guess what they were talking about. And I always found that interesting. Or they would come with recommendations, and I would, have a plethora of knowledge that I could, recommend different things. So I kind of miss that atmosphere. And I get to do that with books now, but I loved being able to do that with movies. So anyway, thank you. This is fun, and I'll tag a whole bunch of people down below. I'm for sure Mike at Bibliophile Reads, Saracen Salute. I know that Angelina doesn't do tags anymore, but maybe because if you ever come back and start filming again soon, you don't have to do it for February. If you like movies and you want to share your love of movies with us, I would love to have you do it as well. So Angelina at Books Do Things to Me. And then a couple, just so that I'm not sitting here with dead air trying to remember who I want to tag, I'll make sure that I make another list down below. And so before my cat drops any of the rest of my movies, thank you for watching. And I guess instead of happy reading, find something to watch and just enjoy. So happy watching.